Good afternoon, this is Jackie Schletter and welcome to another Lightroom Classic tutorial. I'm going to try to keep this somewhat short. It's pretty difficult for me. I don't know why, but there's just so much that can be done, and I kind of want to show it and explain it to y'all, but I'm going to try to just focus on a couple of elements as far as this image goes. So I posted this butterfly image recently on Instagram, and I'm going to show you kind of how to bring a butterfly or any object into a different part of the image for aesthetic purposes, and then a little bit of the generative fill that we can do to change plants or flowers and see if you can get a different aesthetic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by a quick reset here. Now, I'm a big snapshot person, so if you're not using snapshot, here, if you look up here in the navigator, you can see these are all the different iterations that I've saved. And all you have to do that is right click over here, or just click on your plus, and then you can fill this in with a name or whatever you want. Just leave it. A lot of times I just leave the date and time, and it will save the version that you were working on, so you can quick go back to it very easily. So I'm going to just reset this. So this is the original image, and you can see here we've got a nice crisp butterfly. We were at 5,000th of a second. There's a little bit of noise here at 2,000, and we'll decide if we want to deal with that once I get into the image. But the big things I want to show you today are moving the butterfly and then how you can kind of work the plant. So we've got a pretty nice background here, but I didn't really like the crop aesthetic. Like, it just, I don't know, just couldn't really find a crop that I liked. So what I really want to do is bring this butterfly into this area. We were at 2.8, so some of the details off to the sides are a bit fuzzy, but this butterfly weed stayed pretty focused. So what I'm going to do is come up and grab this middle tool, the little band-aid as I call it, and we're going to just draw in. Now, I'm a mouse user, so I'm just taking my mouse, left click, and I'm just going to draw in the area where I think I would like to have this butterfly settle. So the system kind of grabs it for you, and then you can just drag that little bubble and put this butterfly exactly where you want it. So I'm just going to try to get it closer to the flower. All right, there we go. And so now I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to get rid of this butterfly, and we're going to do this by right clicking, and we're going to call it a generative remove, and it should match the background pretty closely. This doesn't always work perfectly, but this kind of background, it's generally pretty successful. All right, so we've already moved our butterfly into, I think, what will be a nicer aesthetic. So you can already see here, oops, cropping. And then I might just, I don't know, turn it to where, and I use this navigator tool to kind of get a faraway view, so to speak. So I may just turn it to straighten out that butterfly weed. All right. Now, we're going to kind of do the same thing with the generative AI and see if we can't get the program to kind of filter some of these big, awkward leaves out of here. So this time, I'm going to use this tool, and we're going to just grab some of this plant like this, and let's see if we remove. Now, this is it's a real crapshoot. Sometimes you'll get just what you want really fast, and other times you really have to work it. So this can definitely try your patience. But even something like this is a little more, excuse me, interesting, certainly less cluttered. Now remember, this is an artistic ordeal here. We are endeavoring to make something. This might be a really pretty cocktail napkin or mouse pad. We're looking to make art here, so I'm not really worried about anything like I would be with a competition, or unless it's an open competition where they allow this kind of thing playing with the program. So this is one, and you can see we even got a little bit of blur here. So you have to decide what's artsy to you and what isn't. Now, the other thing that we can do here is it's going to give you 3 options. So that was the first. Here's the second. And there's the third, which is sort of wonky, right? This is sort of the big knock on AI. You never quite know what it's going to give you. So just for purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and keep this iteration. And then what we can do is decide, how much, this made this one kind of wide, but that's kind of pretty. All right, now we've got a couple of little pieces here. So if you want, you can, either one of these will do. This is a nicer generative fill. This one is nicer sometimes for removal. So I'll just come here and we'll move that. And it's just kind of going to help you find a suggestion. And then you can see we've already just removed those little leaves. Now we can come down below here and we can go ahead. We are at 2000. I'm seeing grain. And so we're just going to go ahead and hit denoise. Should clean it up a little more for us, maybe smooth out that backdrop. And then I might just sharpen, maybe bring in a little luminance there. All right, and now the rest of it, you're just gonna play, you can decide what you wanna do. So use your sliders and really play with them and, bring in, take a look, go one way or the other, so you can see the full range. These flowers get kind of pretty with them being smoothed down. You can bring up your shadows. I like to bring up shadows a lot for artistic effect. And then even, with your exposure, you can make this even a little more high key, because this is our light source that was original to the photograph. It was a little sunny. And then maybe we can just bring down, you can bring the whites down a little bit. So this is where you'll just start to play with the rest of it. But you can see how far we've come. Now, if I wanted to snapshot this one, I'll just go ahead and we'll just type in tutorial here. So all right, so here's the one I posted. Now this is another one I made. You can see the AI really kind of made a wispy version, which I like. That's kind of neat. And then here is the one that we just did on the tutorial. And then again, go in and play with your background a bit. So I just chose background. We're going to subtract subject, because on the backdrop here, I'm going to throw in a little bit of blue, just a little tiny bit. So I don't want the butterfly and the leaves and that kind of thing turning blue, but we just want to tone the backdrop a little bit, I think, and make it a little less green. All right, and now we can show the overlay if you click here. And then if you want, you can say subtract brush. And we're going to use a brush tool where to get some of that blue off the leaves, we can just go here and erase some of the mask that covered. And if you want, you can run right down the plant stalk. Now be careful when you do this. That's a whole nother tutorial I have explained a little bit. Need a steady hand. But I hope that that helps you. Now, if you want, this can also be toned, so we could go back in here and add a little more green, make it not quite so white. But there's just 1,000 more things that we could do to this image. But I wanted to just show you those big elements that really changed this image. And again, we can even come here and add vibrance. We can tone down the vibrance. For this, maybe one last touch, I might come up here, just hit K. That'll give you a new brush. And I might just color in a little bit of the butterfly and then come down and add some saturation. See how we're just adding some glow right here? So some of the things that you'll do in post are so subtle, but they really do make all the difference. So I hope that was helpful. DM me in Instagram or send me an email. I'm always willing to help. Send an image and I can go through it with you if there's any changes you'd like to make or post-processing tips. Have a great day.